Next deformer is squash and stretch. To apply squash and stretch, I have to first create a basic primitive. So I create a sphere over here. For better result or better smoothness, I click on the segment option and increase the segment around 50. Then after I click on this squash and stretch option, I drag this squash and stretch on the sphere, and to see the result of it, first I change the effect called a parameter called factor. See, it's stretching. Then after I can change the top part of this deformer, a center part, a bottom part, aspect ratio for flatness, factor again for stretch, expansion like this, expand, and smoothness at the start and smoothness at the end. A curvature option or radius, randomness or roundness. You can change the melting size like this to get better result. This you can use melt to create this kind of effect in Cinema 4D. Next deformer is explosion. When I click on this explosion, you can see it's something like a bomb. I just drag the explosion on the sphere, click it, and just change the strength of it, and you can see the sphere is explode by this explosion. You can animate this thing. You can apply this effect on any object like a character or a text. That will create a very nice effect. You can modify the speed of these particles. Angle speed is kind of rotation of this particle, or size of these particles. Again, you can go with the randomness to create little complex effect of this explosion option. This you can modify, or you can create explosion effect by using this small explosion option. Next one is explosion effects, is advanced part of this explosion. I click on this explosion effects. I drag this explosion effects on this sphere. You can see it works same like explosion, but have a little bit different parameter or advanced parameter. You can change the timing of it, the parameter of explosion by using the explosion options, a strength of explosion, decay, variation of this explosion, variation in directions. You can change the blast time like this, blast speed, and other option according to blast option. Cluster is for us this size or these small particles. You want to change the thickness of it, you can change it like this. Density, you can change it like, see, you can see it's stretching toward the center. Automatic or polygons or different type of option, selection plus polygon. You can modify this, like you can animate this gizmo to create this kind of effect. It's going up again. To control that, I can change the field of gravity to control this particle options. You can change the gravity angle or direction where you want to change the effects. You can change the range of it, gravity range, so you have better control than the explosion like this. Next deformer is a shatter. I drag the shatter on this sphere, and you can see when I change the strength option, create effect like this. I can change the strength shatter center point like this. This you can modify the stuff. Angle speed, you can see the angle speed over here, angle of the particles, end size like this, and a randomness in the end size. This way you can use shatter to create some nice effect inside Cinema 4D. Next deformer is a correction deformer. So let me explain about this. First, I create a basic model or basic stuff. So I just click on this torus option. For better result, for better smoothness, I can increase the ring segment around 50 and pipe segment around 50. For correction, we have to deform model, and then after we correct it again or correct it back to a base model. For that, I have to deform this. So I just click on this editable mesh. I can deform this object by using a FFD option or mesh option, but I'm using a little bit advanced option. So I just click on this edit, make editable option. I click on it. Now this model I can modify by using the polygon option or other modeling tool. I click on this polygon option. I right click over here, but before that I add a correction model, a correction option from the, but before that I add a correction deformer. Fine. Then after I right click over here and choose a brush option, I deform this brush, or deform this model by using a brush like this. Go back to correction. I just update this, and when I change the strength value, you can see is getting back to his basic form like this. This way you can modify the object by using a correction deformer. Next deformer is a jiggle deformer. To learn about this, I create a basic primitive of sphere and change the segment to 50. Now the process is a little bit complex over here. Normally we use jiggle to create a muscles animation, but right now I show you the basic stuff or basic example of this jiggle option. So first I convert this sphere into the editable mesh or editable polygon. I just click on this option. Here I want to decide at which point I want to apply the jiggle effect. So I just click on this point option and select some point from top like this. I just painting roughly, and I select some points over here, random points. Fine. Then I want to save these points, so I just go here inside select option and click on this set selection, so I can save this selection for future use. I click on the set selection option. Here you can see whenever I double click on this save selection icon, you can get back that selection. Now I apply a jiggle modifier or jiggle deformer on this object. I drag the jiggle on the sphere. Here inside this jiggle parameters, you can see this option called restriction. So I want to restrict this point from jiggling or something like that. So I just drag this point selection option from here to restrict box. Now this selection is restricted. I go back to object option. I change the strength of this jiggle. Fine. Now I double click on this selection. I keep my animation play option on. I modify this object like this. I click on this model option and I move this sphere like this. So you can see some jiggling on the top part. That way you can use jiggle modifier or jiggle deformer to create this kind of jiggling effect. We normally use this to create a muscles inside Cinema 4D.